Hello, welcome to the channel. I'm probably gonna come up with a new username later on besides Matthew McGee, but welcome back. It's your boy again, Matthew McGee, with your boy Malik. Not giving out the government name again, but coming to y'all with another video. And for this video, I'm gonna answer. Even though I commented on a lot of y'all's questions, I'm actually gonna put a video about it just in case anyone else wants to hear it. Just comments from y'all, and I'm gonna go really in depth because some of these comments are about things going on with us as well, especially coronavirus going on while we're still sitting here and all that crazy stuff. So without further ado, let's get into it. Latest question, just actually got this 2 hours ago. It's from Jumpman Jordan 317 and a paragraph damn near. But he says, I have a question. I'm currently in school at KLLM, and I was wondering, is it required for you to know how to read an atlas? And is there a truck navigation apps that work even when there's a signal loss? Also, they're to give you information showing what the height of your truck will be. I'm gonna put this on the picture while y'all read along. But what the height of your truck would be in case you have to go on the bridges, and do they tell you what the weight of your truck would be when you get a load? Okay, starting off with question number one. Is it required for you to know how to read an atlas? Yes. I don't think in the test portion though, was it? There was no test portion on the atlas, right? No. I think the atlas is only required for the upgrade test. the upgrade test isn't how I joke about that. It was only required for the upgrade test at the end of the training. After you've been with your training for 6 weeks, you have to take upgrade test, and it's going to ask you a little section of the test to be able to how far is this city from this city, and how can you do a pre-plan, and also where can you spot where the tolls are and stuff like that. But it's not you don't have to know super in depth, but hopefully your trainer go over with you. My trainer actually bought me an atlas and went over with me. I'm being honest with you, I don't use it. I'm kind of tech savvy, and I don't know, it's old age. We got apps, we got phones. I use that. Anyway, and going to your next question, is there a truck navigation app that works even when you're in signal loss? Okay, so I'm gonna be honest. I use an app called Waze, and you use Google. Does Google work without signal, or they don't? Okay, so Waze and Google, they're kind of since they're not built into the phone apps, they're third-party apps. They only work with signal, but for the most part, they're pretty good. Now, the Qualcomm they give you usually does a good job of keeping signal. It's usually rare if you're super high in the mountain or you're in the middle of nowhere. It's gonna have maybe a few minutes of losing the signal, but it's not super long. It's not gonna be oh, your exit's coming up and then boom, you lose your signal. It's nothing like that. It's usually very rare. It's usually only when you're in the middle of nowhere, like Arizona or somewhere. And but there are apps, but the one app that's always gonna work no matter if you have a signal or not. It's going to be the actual iPhone GPS. The only reason I don't use it, I don't trust it, due to the fact it's iPhone. I know iPhones, this, that, and the other, but to me they don't update enough. I like Waze because it's the real-time traffic updates, and it's actually saved me from traffic jams plenty of times. You just have to be cautious on what roads you're going to, because you're not in a car, you're in a truck. Also, does your trainer, what was it, GPS he used?
The brand?
Yeah.
Rand McNally.
Grand McNally. Rand
R-E-N-D.
Rand McNally. And did it work good? And yeah, can you go in depth about the Rand McNally? You can't. Rand McNally.
I don't know much about it.
It was his trainer's GPS. But going to your next question, signal loss also showing what height of your truck would be in case. Oh, just as far as knowing how high your truck is, just always remember 13.6. Out of all my driving, I only taken the risk of going under a bridge that said 13.6 one time, and the whole time I was driving like this because I was scared the top of this truck and the trailer was gonna rip off. So just remember 13.6. Don't go anywhere if it's. Sometimes I don't even like 13.8 to be honest. I don't know. Just remember 13.6 though. Just get that in your head. And everywhere you go, it's actually one of the macros you're seeing. They're going to tell you the weight of the truck on your bill of lading. Even then, a lot of load shippers and receivers have scales as well, and also you have to scale every load. You have to scale every load after you get it at the nearest cat scale anyway. But most of the time it's on your bill of lading, because when you do the macro that you're seeing after you get your new load, you have to put the weight and the amount of pallets, or the amount of pieces of product on it anyway. So yeah, that is something you're gonna know from the jump anyway, and you'll figure that more when you're on the road. They don't really go over that as much as in the class. A lot of that's more in the training experience. And now we're going to Dhokli, very loyal subscriber. Appreciate you, Dhokli. Nick, that's not that part. I was told they were shut down due to the coronavirus, but I'm wondering if it was all terminals or just the one I applied at. I'm ready to get on with KLM too. Everything I found with them seems like a great place to be. Okay, from what I've heard for KLM, they've been still doing class, because we pass by terminals and there'll still be trucks moving around. But I heard they've been limiting like class sizes to like 10 at a time to keep space and social distancing. But they're still teaching. I heard from one guy, he was on a waiting list to see how long. Yeah, I think it was on TikTok. I got a message. Yeah, he said he's on a waiting list to get in, because they're only letting a limited amount of people in the class. Because my class had like 20 something. How many? Mr. Your class have like a whole bunch. He just woke up, so yeah, just anyway. Yeah, so yeah, they're limiting class size. They're still trying to get as many people as they can out there. But yeah, there is KLM as far as the first year. My phone just down. Anyway, as far as like a first year program, it's definitely a good program. I would definitely say so. And going to the next question from Black Market. What they pay like, bro? Recruiter hit me saying 3,000 miles a week and $1,700 to $2,200 a week. Tell me, bro, let me know if it's real. I'm gonna be straight with you, that is not real. I've only seen, as solo, I've only seen one check over 3,000 miles. It was 3,333 miles on the dot. And that check only came out to being $1,400, almost $1,500. And solo, you only pay 45 cents a mile. But yeah, that check only came out to $1,400. I don't know where or why he told you 17 or 2,200. Now, is that possible? It's possible to get 1,700 with team doing 3,300 miles based off that math we've been doing with our driving and our checks and our after tax. Our true ratio of pay per mile after taxes is possible to hit 1,700, but as far as 2,200, that's a far fetch. He's probably just speaking numbers, throwing numbers at you. A lot of recruiters, I'm gonna just be blunt, they like to treat, they assume that you don't know how to do math. I've been throwing numbers that are not true. They tend to throw numbers that a lot of people assuming they're not going to actually do the math later on. And yeah, I would say as far as solo, you would be looking more at, on a bad week I got 900, I'll say that, and on a good week I got 14. So I would say anywhere in that range is what you're looking at. I had one previous classmate I ran into though, she made, I think it was 16, but she told me they ran the hell out of her to get that. So yeah, and I try not to need a reset, so that's probably why mine was a little not as high as hers, but she had to run off recap after that. But yeah, true numbers, I would say probably the highest solo would be 16. Now as far as team, I did the math, the highest I think we can get as team is like 18, 1900 is the highest we can get as team, but that's like a damn near perfect week. Like obviously not with the times we're having now with Corona, which I'll get into later, but that's like a perfect week to be able to get those numbers. But yeah, we still haven't got a true full check yet. There's been a lot of hiccups, not only because of the fact we're still getting new to team. The first week was a little bit off. It's also the fact we have to take the truck to the shop, and outside of that, the Corona is making our loads a lot shorter, which I'll get into in I think the next question. Or I think that's no question. But anyway, before I get into Corona, which I end the video on that, one question was how many days of home time you get. The rule is what the company is for every 7 days you're on the road, you get 2 days home. Now there are two things to point out with that. I'll start with the good news before I go with the bad news. The good news is that, say if you get home, your time off is scheduled for the 1st, and you get home on the 1st, your time off doesn't start to the 2nd. So essentially, if you get home, like say around 8 or 9 on the 1st, you still have that whole day. And that. Okay, before I was so rudely interrupted by my truck, like I said, if you get home on the 1st, your time off starts to the 2nd. So if you get home early enough on the 1st, like 8 o'clock, 9 o'clock, yeah, you essentially still got that whole day off, even though you work that morning. So technically you're getting like 3 days off instead of 2. It just depends on what time you get home. That's why I usually try to time my time back home dropping off at the yard. I usually try to time it to where you kind of sneak in, because it's a work day. It's not against the rules. It's just how the system works. If you know how to finesse the clock a little bit, you can make it go to your advantage. Now the bad news is, say, okay, I had a family emergency come up, and I had this, at this point I already had built 6 days off, but I only needed 2 for really just 1 for the family emergency. Now I talked to my dispatcher, say if I took that 2 days off, them other 4 days gone, bye-bye, and I would have to re-earn all that time back. He said you can take off the full time if you need to, because the other time's gonna go away. So that's the one sucky part, is you can't keep with the hours you didn't spend. You can't just build them up in the back pocket, which I don't like that. I'm pretty sure you don't like that either. So yeah, that's the only bad side about that. Now to the big topic, we're gonna talk about the Rona. At first it wasn't hurting us, we was rolling good, but now I've been seeing a lot of memes about it and all this other stuff about it, but I didn't think it was gonna affect us because we're company drivers. But no, there's not a lot of good loads out there. California is lit. I talked to my trainer, and he said he actually had a load to California that turned them around on, and a lot of loads aren't going into California. A lot of loads aren't going into Pennsylvania. A lot of loads are not going into New Jersey, New York, those areas. And with KLM, a lot of your long distance loads primarily go from PA to California to PA. That's usually like the most, from what I've seen, what he's seen, is like the most popular, like PA, California, or California. In California, any load from California is usually gonna send you really, really far. But because the fact California has a major lockdown going on, the same with PA's not on lockdown, but they got a lot of restrictions. And the fact that the rates for a lot of these loads are going down, KLM's not biting a lot of them like they used to. So we've been, as team drivers, getting a lot of loads that are like 300, 400 miles, which is solo. Like that's like a solo load. And I think the highest load we've gotten this week was just barely 1,000 miles. And we knocked it out. Because this is 2 full runs for both of us. And it's a weird time for trucking. Even it's starting to affect the company drivers. It's kind of scaring me a little bit, you know. But outside of this, it's getting to that point. I know they're saying that some states are reopening next week. Hopefully that does not make this worse. Hopefully that improves the overall look going on. Hopefully Cali opens back up. Hopefully New York opens back up. And yeah, because it's kind of, yeah, we still have a job, but as far as our income is not nearly as high as it's projected to be. And it's not the company's fault per se, it's just the fact that there's not a lot of loads out there, and the company has to make money too. It's a get it how you live world. And yeah, like it's a lot of truckers at the terminal we're at now just idle. And the loads we do get aren't necessarily the best loads. So yeah, it's kind of sucky, but praying we can go in the right direction. And yeah, I think it's a short video. Well, as always, feel free to follow us on the gram. I'm dropping it in the description below. The gram, no longer give y'all my Snapchat, y'all are weird. But the gram, and I think that's the gram, right? That's the gram. If you got any questions, more questions, drop them in the comment section below. Follow my TikTok. Matty Ice Baby. I'll drop that in the description below as well. But as always, y'all be safe out here. Y'all be blessed. And thank y'all for watching yet another video.